Okay. Well, here we go. Let's see. Let's wait. Give us a few minutes to let everybody jump on. See once the group can see that we're live. There we are. I think we are on. Okay. So welcome everybody. And we'll give, as you hop on, you can just tell us, where you're coming from. Maybe tell us what part of the challenge that you're on, the 21-day emotional healing challenge that we're working on in the group and through emails. You can just kind of tell us where you're at. Hi, Kelly. We're glad you're here. Jackie's here. Well, today we're going to talk about empowering beliefs. So Robbie's going to teach us a little bit about how to challenge unhealthy emotional patterns and habits by establishing empowering beliefs. So I'm really pumped to get started and hear what Robbie has to say. Hi, Linda. Glad you're here. And yeah, so Robbie, you want to get us started? Do you want to tell us maybe tell us exactly what an unhealthy emotional pattern or habit is?
Good question.
Or we can start somewhere else if you'd like to start somewhere else.
No, I like what you said. I'm just putting together some thoughts together. Ask me the question again, Jessica.
Okay. So when we were talking about what we were going to do today, we talked about how we have unhealthy emotional habits or patterns, and how we're going to challenge those and by establishing empowering beliefs. So maybe we can start by kind of defining for people what is an unhealthy emotional habit or pattern that might be holding them back from being able to function from an empowering belief standpoint.
Mm-hmm. Well, whenever there is an unhealthy emotion, there is lag, there's a discomfort, there is an anger, there is the feeling of lost and feeling of loss and feeling of sad and feelings of grief and feelings of anger. All of this emotions, I call it as the framework of disappointment. Okay. Under the framework of disappointment, you have all of these unhealthy emotions. Okay. Now, all of these unhealthy emotions is in the framework of what God spoke is this is the hard ground that makes nothing grow. See, you're looking at farming situation where God just talks about two different places where the master comes in, the sower comes in, he sows the land, and when he sees there's a land and how the seeds fall in different places, or the land that that master has, and how the enemy comes in and takes all of this. Now, though in all the story, though the enemy is not against come on, the enemy is not against you, he's against God. Come on, that means he's against the plans of God. He's not against you, he's against the plans of God, because the plans of God is what makes him not important.
So you're displacing him.
Yeah.
If your presence displaces him because you bring in the plans of God.
Exactly. He would be his life would be upside down, right? His plans would not work because I would have evacuation notice for the enemy in which he does not like it. Right? He is illegal on earth. So when my presence shows up, he's seeing the notice on me, on him. But he wants to own me, thinking that he's bought me. So what does it mean is he comes with this framework of disappointment, and this framework of disappointment, and this is according to the scriptures and everything, that the story of the farming and all that is, every time there is a disappointment, there is an unhealthy belief.
So we form, in our experiences, when we have a disappointment, we start forming unhealthy belief systems.
Yes.
By how we interpret that story or that experience.
Yeah. So that forms that helps you, that keeps that emotion strong, unhealthy emotion. So when you have a negative belief, you have the negative belief is nurturing unhealthy emotion. Right?
You're revisiting that disappointment in your emotions.
Exactly. So when the emotion is triggered, the belief is triggered. What is this belief? Belief is a personality. You see, when you say I'm not good enough, your emotions are really accepting that I'm not good enough. You're giving more power to an emotion through belief.
Okay. Tell us more about that, about the, you said the beliefs are a personality. So do you mean they're a mindset?
It's a mindset. Yeah. It is how we work from. It's a foundation to work from. I'm not good enough, or nothing is going to, I mean, it's more to do with I cannot be prosperous and I cannot function and I am weak. You see, all of those beliefs comes from I'm not good enough. I am not sufficient enough.
Okay, so they're coming from lack.
Exactly, they come from a lack. But the most importantly is the whole importance of the disappointment is to make a disappointment and an emotion hiding behind it. Is the enemy wants to remind me that reminds me about a punishment, not a reward.
Okay, so you're saying that when a disappointment comes, it's almost like a threat to say you're going to get punished if you keep going this way, like a scare tactic or something that's kind of just loud and distracting.
Yeah.
If we have solid beliefs, if we know who we are, we know that we are created enough, or we made enough through the finished work of Christ, then we can see that belief for what it is, move past it.
Exactly.
And live and think from the truth.
Exactly. So when an emotion shows up as an anger or fear, what is happening is you are reminded that you're going to be punished. That you're going to have the punishment through fear, through anger, that I'm going to punish myself, or I'm going to be punished. And there is this the continuation of that space that I'm going to lose, or I'm going to miss out, or all of this is I'm going to have this, and he might not accept. And what is that? All of that, and it's a process of a punishment. You see?
So do you mean that we're anticipating being punished? So we're anticipating that we're going to experience more fear.
Exactly.
And so when we think, oh, I'm going to experience more fear, then we retreat and pull back because we don't want that experience.
Exactly. So what you're really saying, what you're really saying is behind that an emotion is I don't want to be punished.
Yeah.
You see the point? I don't want to feel that. I don't want to feel that I would take a whip out of it. I'll whip for it. Might as well stay back.
Mm-hmm.
Might as well not take a challenge. Might as well don't confront. Might as well don't do this. Might as well don't. Might as well you do what it feels. You do what it feels right. Feel right now. That means you get into unhealthy habit that escapes you from that fear of failure, punishment.
Yeah, I hear what you're saying. Okay, we have some comments here that I see. So Kelly says, unhealthy beliefs are those lies we believe. So my understanding from what you're saying is yes, like our unhealthy beliefs um, are 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 the lies that we believe about a situation, and we kind of take those on as an identity. Subconsciously, they're the framework we start functioning from.
Mm-hmm.
With the goal that we want to avoid disappointment, avoid pain. So we pull back. I was thinking about in the challenge, the email this morning, and how we can get to a place in the challenge where we think, oh, I'm afraid I won't be able to finish this, or I won't be able to keep going. And so we pull back, trying not to experience that disappointment. So we actually experience the disappointment prematurely because we don't push through and finish. We're protecting ourselves. So here's another question too. So when we pull back, we're avoiding that finish, that what we feel is an inevitable fear or disappointment. But the healthy or positive way to think about this is that we won't even know if we'll experience fear or disappointment if we push through.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make am I making sense there? Like
Uh-huh. So
we kind of accept it early.
we did because behind disappointment, I mean, again, disappointment is the framework, right? It's just an emotion. An emotion is pleasing disappointment. You're building more strength or disappointment, right? So so what the enemy does is he uses disappointment to make me feel punishment, and I won't accept the challenge because there's a punishment. But you're working from disappointment, the culture of disappointment. So whatever you feel like, whatever that lie that you're believing is based out of your punishment. Whether I'm not good enough and I cannot be loved, I'm not worthy of love. All of that is framework of a disappointment, right? So that emotion that comes against you, it's coming from here. That belief of a disappointment, whatever you frame it as from, you are watching the punishment to relate to you and not go back to place. So what the power of God in it is, he's saying, this can be a little complicated. He's saying, I've given you authority, right? So where is that authority placed? The authority is placed in our choice to choose better life.
Tell us more.
Okay, the choice to choose, because I'll say this carefully, because when we are created to choose. When you don't have a choice, we somehow feel stuck. You know what I mean? That's why when God created the world, he made Adam and Eve to be part of a lot of choices to choose from. I want you to understand very carefully. So in the place of choosing, you can choose whichever tree, you can choose whatever tree you want to eat, you can start naming whatever animals you want to choose to name. He was given a variety of things to choose, right? So when it comes from choices, that God said, I've given you authority to, he said, if you believe in me, I'll give sons, become the sons and daughters, means he's helping you access the choices that God has for you in the kingdom. There is a lower faith and a higher faith. So there's a process, or there's a stages to it, but doesn't mean, what it means is, whatever you choose, you're maturing from the choice you're choosing. Okay, so that's one thing. So when the enemy shows up, he doesn't come with a choice. He doesn't come with a choice. He's always says, look, I'm giving you, I'm showing you what you could face, called punishment. With God, he's saying, I've given you the heart of discernment. The gift of discernment is to see the choices. The enemy is steal, kill, and destroy. That's all his choices are. He wants to steal, kill, and destroy my power to choose, or my power to see what benefits me to be mature in God. You see the point? So, am I making sense?
Yeah. What I hear you saying is that, we were made to create or to make choices, and in basic sense, that the enemy just comes to prompt us not to make a choice,
Mm-hmm.
or to not make an action, which is still a choice.
Yeah.
We're choosing to sit back and avoid pain or punishment.
Yeah. That means when I come to know the Lord, I get to become when I come to the Lord, that's saying, I've given you authority. I'll repeat this again. I'll give you authority. I don't know. I'll give you authority into your free will. I've given you authority means I've given you power over your free will. Your free will is your inner person, inner man. This is a complicating teaching. I'm giving you my coaching secrets. I'm given the power. I'm healing. Come on, I'm healing your soul man, who is your free will man. He set freed. When you get healed from the inner man, the soul man, he is free from free from choosing from free from control of oneself, to see the options of so many things.
So rather than options paralyzing us or stopping us from moving, when we understand that we've been created to make a choice, then we're empowered. Then we can move forward with freedom to make choices, rather than thinking, oh, I'm going to make the wrong choice, or I'm going to get, if this is bad, is going to happen if I go. So we stop. That's good. We have a question here. So Tina says, so when we feel stuck or stifled, is it a sign that we have fallen for the enemy's trap?
Exactly. It's when you're trapped to one thing, somehow I call it as emotional abuse.
What does that mean? So when you're stuck or trapped?
Emotional abuse is trapped by someone else's weakness.
Okay, tell us more.
That means emotional abuse is you're trapped by lack, weakness. You see, this can be. I don't have. It has its own connotation to it. So when I'm trapped to something, something that, like for example, I have to have alcohol. You're trapped to an emotional abuse of that one thing.
So are you saying that so when you use the phrase emotional abuse, is it that we are abusing our emotions? Is it that someone else has abused our emotions? Can you give a little bit more clarity to that?
What is the definition of abuse? Abuse is you have not given the choice to create.
So you've become powerless.
You become powerless. That's a simple definition. I woke up with excitement today morning when you talked about definition of abuse. You have been taken away the authority of creativity.
Mm,
So when you take away authority of creativity, you're controlled by someone who has control over you, which is their weakness.
okay.
You see? So when a strong man who's healed wants to help me, he will show me, he will take me he will take me to options of saying, look at this vast thing that I have, go have fun. You are a sheep. What does the shepherd do? He says, go have fun. There are so many options, so much of field. Eat wherever you are, but know that I'm watching you. You're not scattered. You're not running away. If you run away, I know where to get you. You see the
That's
point?
good.
There is
Yeah,
a
that's so good.
freedom in choosing, because in choosing you are celebrated. But you don't have if you don't have a choice, some choices, you have a choice to choose something that makes you grow, something that doesn't make you grow. You see
Okay.
the choices, if the choice even there, it's like you're seeing what helps me grow, what helps me not to grow. See, that's a choice. So when you're looking at it, when you did I make sense? I want to make sure this is covered, because choosing is a gift of God.
Yes. Yeah. So you laid the foundation and said, this is what a belief is. And an unhealthy pattern or belief is when we're stuck or there's basically hard ground.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing's growing from that place.
Mm-hmm.
But to establish healthy beliefs,
Mm-hmm.
we have to understand the power of choice.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
power of choice to awaken creativity and to dismantle powerlessness.
Mm-hmm. Amen. Amen. So the next thing that what happens with God is saying he takes over self-will, which is my soul man, which is a choice man, and the choice man looks at looks at what happens on the ground. He becomes a sower.
So
he
the choice man becomes the sower.
Yeah, that he becomes the person to see through the gift that he's placed, called discernment. He gets to see, the choice prince gets to, that inner friend, the person that's in you, that's a power. That choice man, free will, looks at things differently, because he is emotionally healed. He is not trapped by something that is something that controls through its weakness, but it is controlled by encouragement. It is controlled by empowering God, that says you're no more under influence of something that is caught your attention, or something that is abusing you, that not giving you a place to grow. So now he's free. When he's looking at an attack, when an attack shows up, he immediately knows, oh my goodness, that choice, if I choose it, an emotion shows up, an anger, that really means that he doesn't want me to partner. Doesn't want me to partner with the punishment. But if I'm choosing God, he's choosing me to partner with the reward. The reward is maturity. The reward is I am, come on, I am shining. I'm shining the light in the dark. In other words, I'm shining the light on the treasure. I become the light. I become that light that shines the treasure. So I get to see things that I never saw before. You know what I mean? I get to see things, that choice saying, okay, I can stay in the dark, or I become a light in the dark. So if I'm becoming light in the dark, I get to see the treasures.
That's good. That's good. So knowing these things and learning that we have choice, can you give us some practical examples of how this plays out in real life?
Like, good. So when for example, every time there is an attack, there is a in 30 seconds of your attack, we know what is this going to do. What are we going to do in the 30 seconds time? In the 30 seconds of time with the person, we know where our emotions are going into. Is it going to be encouraged, or is it going to be a threat? I'm going to get threatened. Am I going to be blessed? I'm going to be, in the 30 seconds, this soul man, he recognizes where am I going. So immediately the soul man, he's looking at what happened to you, either from healed place or unhealed place, called disappointment, right? So he says, okay, this is this emotion coming hitting the hard ground, or a soft, or is it a hard ground? Is an emotion placing? That means you're saying, okay, I'm getting hit by this emotion. So immediately what I do, I reframe, set back, and say, what is this? What is this? What is this? Because this is a process. What is this? What is this defining me? What is it trying to say? What is this lie? What is the lie hidden in this emotion? You see? So
So
if
you're
I'm,
asking, what is my belief?
yes,
What am I believing here?
what is this lie or a belief that is underlined in this emotion? Am I underlined as am I losing something? Because most of the time when our anger shows up, most of the time it says, most of the time it tells me, okay, I'm losing control.
Okay.
You see, that's a lie. So you immediately recognize I'm losing control. Means no, you're not losing. God's given you all authority of heaven on earth. So how do you process this? Is my framework of maturity says I'm going to place my grace. I'm going to place myself in grace, which places a responsibility over what I'm facing.
Mm.
Either I place responsibility or run away from it. So when I'm placing responsibility, I'm placing love to it, the action of love. You see? So the responsibility is, Daddy, I'm gonna make this lie not become hard, not fall into the private line. I'm gonna sweep it. I'm gonna upside down it. I'll take authority to till it, so that I would have authority to put my thought of the righteous thought into that land. You see the point?
Yeah.
So you as a I mean, this is a different way of thinking, because you as a farmer have given authority from the master to you to plow the land. So you're gripping, you're making the ground work for a thought that's going to plant. The thought is, I can do all things through Christ. And there's a lot of things. That's an action plan for a thought. So yeah, this is beautiful because so when anger shows up, I'm going to lose my control. I'm going to lose something that's I'm facing. So when I'm recognizing there's a belief in it, I'm pulling back myself and say, do I accept? Do I accept its punishment, or do I accept maturity, responsibility? I rather accept maturity through responsibility, because my maturity works me out to a different level. If I don't confront it, it's hard for people to trust it.
So you're saying if you don't, so we're faced with an uncomfortable emotion. We set back, we look at, okay, here's this emotion. What belief is it springing from? So as you said, like anger. I'm losing control. So then we have a choice. Okay, I have this belief. I can either stay in a place of, is the dog trying to go outside?
Okay.
Rambo, everybody. So once we see the thought, or we see the belief in front of us, so we say, okay, here's the anger. I'm feeling out of control. Oh, wait, I've been given control. I've been given authority from the Lord. Now you have a choice whether or not to follow the path of entertaining the anger or forcing the ground by tilling it, by breaking the hard surface and putting the thought of righteousness in that place. And that will grow. The thought of righteousness will grow fruit. Whereas like if we continue on the path of anger, nothing's going to grow because it won't penetrate the soil.
Yeah. Because what the enemy is trying to do is doesn't want me to think. Slavery is what is a slave? A slave is not giving you access. It's not only giving you access. Slavery is not making you think. If I can't show you, you won't think. If I show you, you will think. So with God, I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you what I have for you. I'm going to show you what the enemy is. You see the point? So when God shows me things that I will be mature, I'll be mature enough. What's he doing? He is building me to be a trusted vessel, so that he starts implanting wisdom, starts implanting things that I would never think that I would say. You see?
That's encouraging. I mean, like, that's exciting to think about.
It is. That's the power. That's the power of allowing me to be the son. And me to be the son is he showing me the things that I never saw. That makes me excited to see and accept it. You see?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that something powerful is happening in this call for the people that are realizing they have a choice. They've been given the authority to make a choice. And something's shifting inside of them at the moment. What would you describe that any?
Yeah, I mean, to me, as I'm listening to the Lord, He's really giving you authority to feel that the love that He's placed through Jesus is worthy. That means God is saying, I trust you. I trust you. I trust you to choose what I'm showing you. I trust you. He's not just saying, I trust you because no matter who you are, whatever you are, I'm going to trust you. No, I trust you because you're going to choose what I'm going to show you.
Wow. Wow.
Because that's the power of God saying, I'll show you, and through that, because Bible says, Jeremiah 33:3, if you call unto me, I'll show what? I'll show you great and mighty things. So when you call him and he gets to show you, why would I not take an action of choosing what he's going to show me? That's the only benefit of 3.5 million gods in India, 3.5 million principalities. Here in America is 3.5 million principles. The one. And that is what makes us not to see, or invites me not to see what Jesus has for me. That's anger, fear. I mean, right now we see this anger and fear going around this country. Why? There's a fear of something that they have worked for is already lost, and what they're gonna earn would also, that means all of that what they earned would be taken away. That's not what Jesus does. He would multiply to what you have and give you more what you don't deserve. You see?
Yeah.
We are meant to be creative. We're not meant to be slaves. In creativity, leadership is placed. Come on.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's so good. Kelly says, we are not powerless people.
Mm-hmm.
She keeps going. She says, we are not victims of our emotions. We are powerful with the Lord to replace lies with truth that affect our emotions. That's good, Kelly. She's getting it.
Yeah.
So do you want to answer some questions now, or do you want to talk some more about this?
We can go there, answer questions.
Okay. All right. So if you're on here live and you would like Robbie to answer a question, why don't you go ahead and put that in the comments? We can see the comments coming up today a lot better than we have the last few times. So pop your question in and we'll answer. It does not have to be specific to this topic. So answer or ask away. Give a minute for people to type in. There might be a slight delay, I think, between what we're experiencing and then what's in the video. Just a couple of seconds. I know earlier somebody asked, what is an example of a disappointment?
The disappointment, good job. The example of disappointment is, I'm weak. I will never be loved. You see, disappointment is a memory of me not being accepted. You see, so whether it be parents, whether it be people, whether it be your peers, or whoever it is, whenever there is a rejection, there is disappointment. So is a rejection a framework? No, but the disappointment comes from different ways. But the other side of disappointment is trust. God's saying, I trust you. You're loved. You're loved. Because that's the beauty of saying, I'm accept I accept the anointing of trust. I don't accept the light of disappointment.
That's good. That's good. Okay, here's another question. How do I wake up with renewed thoughts, excited for the day, instead of putting on good thoughts, or versus putting on good thoughts? Oh, they're coming in quickly and it's moving my comments. In my morning routine and feeling better after an hour. So my understanding, and Chloe, you can correct me if I'm wrong, she's asking, how do we wake up with renewed thoughts instead of needing to work ourselves into renewed thoughts? First thing.
Yeah. Well, the first thing that helps me, to me, and to all my people who are shakers and movers, I tell them to wake up with one belief, saying, "Daddy, help me to be creative." Help me to be creative.
So are you asking that the night before, or are you asking that immediately upon waking?
Immediately at being awake.
Okay.
That's my one chant that I have in the morning, saying, "Daddy, help me to be creative today." So see, anything, any word you choose, you have connections to it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So when you choose power of creative, you're choosing the personality of a creator. So go ahead.
So, okay, I was just seeing there was a response. So what I'm wondering is, do you ever wake up with feelings of disappointment or blah? Like you wake up, that's your immediate, like, first experience when you open your eyes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, sometimes I do, no doubt. Sometimes I feel wake up with wake up of feeling tired, wake up of sad, as soon as I know, okay, a burden. You see the
So
point? So
you
when I
said for just a moment. So you're saying that you wake up maybe feeling a little bit of a burden.
yeah, so that's called burden. So when I wake up with burden, I I say, okay, this is a burden on me. So in order for me to take this burden out, let me hear what what let me feel celebration. Let me feel what the celebration looks like in worship. Let me understand the worth of God. Because when you're burdened, you are heavy. When you get to know worth of someone who is safer than you come under their wings. So I'm worshiping a God who is safe enough for my emotions. So if it's a heavy burden, I get to listen to a worship. If it's light and if it's good, and if it's really, I wake up with nothing but expectation. That's the first thing I would say. Daddy, help me to be creative.
Okay.
And immediately that creativity would spring different things for me to go after that first day and the first thing in the morning. Either I look up what I studied in the morning, started studying in the night, and bring it back here and say, okay, I tag on to what I want to learn to be more creative in the day.
Okay. I think that's helpful. It's also helpful knowing that you've experienced burden or heaviness when you wake, but
Yeah.
there's still a way to come out of that.
Mm-hmm.
That it's
Yeah.
not abnormal to feel that,
No, not at
but
all.
there's a way out. So that's really helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we'll do another question here. Amy says, Ravi, in this challenge, I have been writing and focusing on all my dreams from the night before. I tend to have many dreams each night. How do I, oh, it just bumped that question down. I think she's saying, how do I recognize the significance when she has a notebook full of dreams? What does she pay attention to?
Okay. Well, the in every dream, there is, for example, in a day, in the night, you would have different types of dreams. But in every dream, there is importance. To me, I call it as God places a very important importance in our dream, saying, okay, but once I know what once I know what to translate or what to understand first, all other dreams either fall back to its order or goes treats me to go to the one that God is trying to say. So you choose which one you want to translate. You'll never be wrong in choosing God's dreams, because the Holy Spirit will guide you through what you choose from, because you're choosing God, saying, okay, God, help me understand this dream. So you're saying, I'm getting into God's anointing, I'm getting into God's way. So no matter where you go, he will make it important. He will make you understand, okay, oh my goodness, this is good. Let me then he would say, this dream, understand this dream. Most of the time he would say, this is enough. This is it. This is the gist of all the dreams.
That's good. I mean, that ties right back to what you were saying just a little while ago with we've been given the authority of choice.
Yeah.
And he's in that choice even. You know, it's a conversation point with him.
Exactly.
That's
Amen.
good.
That's a good word. It's a
That's
conversation
good.
point. Yeah.
Okay, so another question. Robin says, Ravi, how long did it take you to catch all of this God-given sowing and reaping of confidence in consistent measures and not sporadic? So how did you get to a place where you're practicing empowering beliefs consistently? It's not just a sporadic, okay, I did good here today. And Robin, correct me if I'm wrong in interpreting your question. But how did you make this a consistent lifestyle where you're living from empowered beliefs and not disabled by disappointment more often?
Well, I choice, the power of choosing. That has helped me quite a bit. Seriously, is choosing to see what benefits me to maturity, what benefits me to learn. That helps me to be creative. That helps me to lead, because I was in a people's business. I'm still a people's business. So in people's business, if I don't understand the power of choice, I don't understand the power of being leader. You see the point? So I gotta. So to me, the choice helped me see the 360 degree. What's the word? I avoid the blind spot. You see the point? So instead of avoiding the blind, instead of looking at the blind spot, I look at different ways to make sure is there a car or not.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah. And one thing I've noticed through this challenge and some of the things you've shared is that you value process.
mm-hmm.
You value process. And you said once that the Lord meets you in step 1. He meets you in step 2.
Yeah.
If we jump ahead to where step 10, then that's where we enter shame. instead of just encountering the Lord in each step and letting him mature from 1 to 2
Amen.
and then mature from 2 to 3. So
Amen.
we get to see you living this life consistently and know that as we strengthen our muscles of choice, we're going to eventually be at 9 or 10.
Good job.
But we have to walk through those steps of continuing to choose and strengthening our exercising of that authority of choice.
That's it. That's right. In the little things, be grateful.
Yeah.
And,
that's good. Well, how about one more question? Does that sound good? Okay. So Meredith asks, she says, my comments keep skipping around because it looks like people are commenting. So bear with me. Okay. She says, do you recommend a way to engage in power and authority during the night when we experience nightmares or demonic attack? She says, in the dreams, I'm frozen and can't speak or rebuke. Do you recommend a way to combat that powerlessness during a nightmare?
Do you recommend what?
Do you recommend a way to combat that powerlessness during a nightmare?
During the nightmare or before the nightmare?
During. So it sounds like, so say you have a nightmare or a demonic attack in a dream. And she says that she can't speak and she's frozen. So she can't speak or rebuke. How do you combat that powerlessness?
Okay. Well, that that is a good question. It's sometimes that powerlessness comes from your chemical reaction in your body.
Your what reaction?
The chemical reaction. Because when you, sometimes what happens is we can say something, it feels like someone's sitting on you, you see something, and there is a chemical reaction to into your body that sometimes makes it happen. Well, I've understood in especially in India with this type of cases where there's a nightmare and people can't say anything, people can't lift their hands or legs, they're stuck. What I've understood victory over this is that person who has dreams such as that gives more time to worship in the night, more time, because you want to hear more words of worship to combat the nightmare that's going to come.
Okay.
Because the word of God through worship is a two-edged sword. The word of God knows how to combat the enemy, the tears of the enemy. Okay. So if you know you are a dreamer and you have a lot of dreams in the night and you have experienced some nightmares, make sure you hear tons of words of worship in the night.
So would you recommend even playing worship music in the room while you're sleeping, if you're able to tolerate that?
I would, but what I would do is make sure I would hear the worship all day long to help me in the night also. It's not just the night, it's the process of all day. I would choose worship, play worship. Sometimes it helps me to put a worship music in the living room and leave it there. Okay. And I would not hear it, but I know, because it's like this, Nana. It's like feeling secure. Your brain somehow it wants you to become relational to something. So your brain immediately says, "Oh, I hear a worship." It doesn't. You don't even hear because you're saying. I'm just saying. It's a crazy how you're attached. You're letting your brain connect to what you play security to. In
Okay.
India, my mentors, my mentors in India, when I'm attacked, I know exactly my mentors are praying there. I know it because when immediately I know, okay, I feel the attack, but I know already my mentors in India are praying. What is that? That's an emotional connection that you give power to. So worship is you're giving your emotions power to worship, and that is what makes a war against the powers of the enemy.
Okay. So that's kind of like a um, preemptive. So that's something you do beforehand. Say
I
you're in
would.
the middle of something like that. It's actually happening at that moment. Is there anything that someone can do in that moment?
Absolutely. As soon as you come to as soon as you come to aware and you come out of it, or you one of two things. While in the process, worship, bring out worship. Daddy, I worship you. You're awesome. Your face value is powerful. You don't ask, don't cry out. Here's where the power is. You place value on the weapons of God. Daddy, I believe your weapons are coming down now. I believe your weapons are weapons to put the enemy's plans to shatter. I ask that your weapons to show up. That means you're saying, Lord, give me, give, I give you permission. I give you permission for your weapons to war this. You see, so what you're saying is you're saying I worship to what the power that you carry in me. So
Mm,
uh, to me, to me, I as soon as for these people, especially for people, for a few examples I have in my own life, when I get stuck with that psychological, sorry, physical feeling, I immediately turn worship. Remember my face, I grunge saying, Daddy, I turn myself to worship and saying, Lord, I worship you for who you are. I ask your presence to show up so much so that I could feel I can get back to where I am. Because sometimes command works. When a command does not work, I'll take myself to worship, saying, I worship you, God. God, I worship you. I worship you. That means the more you're praising something, you immediately got attention to it. You see,
mhm.
your enemy hates worship. I want you to understand. Enemy hates worship. So when you're worshiping the worth of God, worshiping what Jesus has, you're releasing the power of it. You see, the command is powerful. When command doesn't work, raft yourself to worship.
That's good. That's so good. Okay, I think that's all for the questions tonight or today. So, Robbie, thank you so much for sharing with us. This has
All
been
right.
good.
Thank you, Jesse.
And uh, we are really enjoying all of your testimonies. So please keep those coming. And then if you send us a testimony, just make a note in there, hey, this is okay to encourage other people with. So we would love to encourage other people um, to believe for similar testimonies. So we'll go live again next Thursday at 2:30 Eastern time. So set a reminder now and we'll see you then. And I think that's all for today. Robbie, if you are ready, you can end the live on your end and we'll see everybody next time.
All right. I'll see them. Thank you.
Bye.